everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about cemetery cats. In case you didn't know, cats have actually been known to make themselves at home in cemeteries for a little while now. Although some mythology may say it's because of the association with the afterlife and cats and they're just spiritual that way, I wanted to know if there was a genuine scientific reason for why cats are so drawn to cemeteries. So let's dive right in and see what this is all about. According to one of my sources, Yanaka Cemetery in Tokyo is home to dozens of friendly community cats. They're friendly and, as a bonus, extremely comforting to mourning visitors. Every day, caregivers come to feed and groom the cats. They're like family. It's a beautiful example of animals and humans living together in harmony, in a sort of symbiotic relationship. Seriously, after reading this article, I want to be buried there and have my grave made with catnip, if that's at all possible. It sounds wonderful and sweet. Caitlin Doty, the Queen of Death herself, whose book and YouTube channel I highly recommend, not that she needs my recommendation, she's doing incredible for herself, visited this place and called it heaven, which, while it may seem like an odd name for a cemetery, this seems accurate all the same. Tokyo is far from the only place either. Kim Campbell Thornton writes on UE Express that Cemeteries des Chines et autres, I am butchering this, animaux domestiques, otherwise known as the Paris Pet Cemetery, we'll just stick to that name, isn't a resting place for deceased pets. Feral cats wend their way through tombstones or nap inside crypts, one of which has a little cat-shaped entrance, or maybe exits for kitty ghosts. Inside a small building, living cats can find shelter and food, and water flows from a nearby fountain. At Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, feral cats snooze among the stars. Movie stars, that is, enjoying food, water, and shelter provided by cemetery management. Rome's non-Catholic cemetery, also known as the Protestant Cemetery, also has a colony of feral and stray cats there. While it's true that cats are spotted in cemeteries around the globe, is it really because they're associated with death? After all, it's not as if the cat has any way of knowing this, right? But it does seem appropriate that cats would be the animal most likely to hang out at a cemetery. After all, 5,000 years ago, cats were routinely depicted accompanying humans into the afterlife in ancient Egypt, as well as social and religious practices. Maftet, an Egyptian deity who protected against snakes and scorpions, as well as Bastet, the goddess of protection, and Sekhmet, the goddess of war and healing, all were portrayed with cat-like heads. Cats have also been praised ever since the first dynasty of Egypt for taking on venomous snakes and protecting the pharaoh. It's not as if cats were revered as sacred creatures overnight. Scholar Alan Diesel says that ancient Egyptians likely began attributing divine characteristics to cats gradually. The almost supernatural grace, stealth, and night vision of cats were highly admired and might have helped them morph into a truly sacred animal in the eyes of ancient Egyptians. Cats' fondness for napping in the sun led to early associations between the cat and the sun god Ra. Lion and panther goddesses were important, but the most important cat goddess was Bastet or Bast. She too began as a lion, but by the time of cat cemeteries, Bast was depicted as a domestic cat. As Terry Pratchett famously commented, "In ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods. They have not forgotten this." What are cat cemeteries, though? Well, let's get into that. As one of my other sources explains, the ancient relationship between cats and humans, even in death, has transpired further still in recent years. 10 years ago, the world's oldest known pet cemetery began to be discovered just outside the city walls of a Roman town near a rubbish dump in southeast Egypt. 100 animals were unearthed here, but at this time it was unclear whether the archaeologists had uncovered a cemetery or simply a dumping ground for deceased animals. The original findings were published in 2016, and it wasn't until earlier this year, in the early months of 2021, that it became clear that the discovery was unique. Archaeologists uncovered what is now recognized as the world's oldest known pet cemetery in Berenice, Egypt. The 2,000-year-old cemetery was dedicated solely to cats, dogs, and monkeys, with just shy of 600 animals being discovered, 90% of which were cats. Researchers believe that this demonstrates and reinforces the bond between humans and cats reaching back thousands of years. This is likely the oldest cemetery of its kind, according to archaeologists from the Polish Academy of Sciences, who believe that the site was still in use from around the mid-1st to mid-2nd century AD. These beliefs are clearly ancient. They've existed in Egypt as well as old mythology. In Finnish mythology, for example, cats escorted the souls of the dead to the underworld. In Celtic mythology, cats guard the gates there. So I guess Cerberus the three-headed dog is out? Though in Greek mythology, they have a bit more of a specific story. Apparently, a servant was bold enough to trick the goddess Hera. She was punished by being turned into a cat and sent to the underworld to serve the goddesses of restless spirits and entryways. Hecate? I hope I'm saying that correctly then. All the way in Thailand, it was said that the souls of kings who died passed into the bodies of a Siamese cat so that the former king could appear at the coronation of their successor. Cats adoring cemeteries certainly seems appropriate after all these stories, and I have to wonder if this is a chicken and the egg scenario. Are cats depicted as these spiritual beings because they love cemeteries? Or do we notice their love for cemeteries because of their history of being these spiritual beings? But why do cats love cemeteries so much? That is still the question we haven't answered. Well, as it turns out, these reasons are a little bit boring and a little bit basic. Cemeteries are quiet, there's little traffic. It's easy to see the approach of other animals or humans from the top of a tombstone as they offer a good vantage point. Grassy lawns or stone markers warmed by the suns are good for a cat nap. There's little risk from dogs or other predators, but the possibility for prey like mice, squirrels, and rabbits, well, cemeteries are heaven, at least for the cats. Cemeteries are quiet and the cats are under no threat there, says Luz Damron, author of the upcoming memoir, The Cat Lady of Baltimore, the story of her struggles to help keep stray cats safe. Veterinary behaviorist Walaini Song at San Francisco SPCA agrees. I would suspect it is due to the lower risks from predators and disturbance from human population, she says. Most cemeteries are quiet and fenced off, so it's similar to being in a rural setting amid an urban environment. So what came first, the cemetery or the cat? Well, it seems like they've both sort of grown in tandem. Cats have been linked to being spiritual beings for centuries now, and I think that legend won't vanish overnight. I adore cats and obviously creepy things, as if you can't tell that from my channel, so again, if anyone knows a good place for a catnip tombstone, let me know. With all that said though, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I know that some of my more recent topics have been a little bit, I guess, difficult, a little bit intense, so I figured I'd do something fun, more lighthearted, and who doesn't love cats? I'm a bit more of a dog person, but still, cats are adorable. So I hope you liked this video, I hope you liked this fun fact, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!